Joni had this otherworldly view of what was possible in her life, and that she was definitely going to go out there and find it.
I'm not sure that there was a master plan. I think she may have been a young woman with enormous talent, anxious to see what was over the next hill, and the guitar just kind of afforded her a ticket.
It was, in a way, an accident, because I went to art college and began to sing in this little coffee house called the Depression in Calgary.
An old man came courting me, courting me, courting me. An old man came courting me for the wrong day. You know, in the beginning I mimicked Joan Baez and Judy Collins and thought of myself merely as a competent mimic, but the idea of being a recorded artist was not anywhere in my mind. Although as a painter I had the need to innovate, as a musician it was just a hobby, so I didn't think I had the gift to take it any further than that. What happened to me then in art school, I lost my virginity and became pregnant at the same time. The main thing was to protect my parents from the scandal. You had to, what girls did, either you got married to cover it up or you went into a home. Abortion was unheard of. So I entered onto the bad girls trail, you know, which was a trail of shame and scandal. And I had to kind of hide myself away. With the moon in Cancer. Choose her a name, she will answer to call her green, and the winters cannot fade her. Call her green, cause the children who've made a little green. 2 weeks after I gave birth to my daughter, I again went looking for work because I had to put her into a foster home, and I was penniless at the time. Child with a child. Weary of lies you are sending home, so you sign all the papers in the family name. You're sad and you're sorry, but you're not ashamed. Little green, have a happy ending, just a little. One night while I was playing in the Penny Farthing, I met Chuck Mitchell. We quickly became friends, and he said that he could get me work in the States. So with that optimism, I went to a few gigs down there. Eventually I had to tell him my child is in the foster home, and he said he would marry me. I was emotionally weak. A lot of things pulling me in all sorts of unattractive directions. And this was a strong pull in certain directions. Somewhat of a solution. So we married each other for all of those reasons. We had no money. I made my wedding dress, and I made my bridesmaids' dresses. One of my bridesmaids was his sister Celia, who I barely knew. I barely knew any of these people. And I walked down the aisle, brandishing my daisies, thinking, I can get out of this. But the moment we were married, he intimated strongly that he had no interest in raising another man's child. So I was trapped. Chuck insisted that we be a duo, but we were totally unsuited to be a duo. He made more money with me than he did without me. And he held the purse strings completely. Because we were young and attractive, we were being made into kind of Detroit's golden couple. So we were living a lie. And I don't like to live a lie. You try to make the best of moments, and I looked relatively happy, but I felt like I'd been betrayed. It was very difficult for me. So I began to write. I think I started writing just to develop my own private world, and also because I was disturbed.
and ice cream castles in the air.
Both Sides Now was one of the first songs. I was meditating on fantasy and reality, childlike optimism and adult reality. This was the work of my childhood then.
Rain and snow on everyone, so many the flowers started. I took the flowers from the bags now, from up and down. As my work began to mature, I began to long for my own growth. I felt that I couldn't grow with Chuck, that we would never grow together, that I had to separate myself from the duo, that I had to become an individual in order to grow. And as soon as the duo dissolved, the marriage dissolved. Moons and Junes and Ferris, dizzy dancing where you feel
I think she had more understanding than most people do of human beings. She had already been through some hard things. And what makes human beings get with it is paying attention. Sort of like you arrive here at the boulder and you walk corners like yourself until you get smooth like a river stone. She was already starting to get smooth.
I feel every bit of trouble I went through I'm grateful for, Bad fortune changed the course of my destiny. I became a musician.
You're just starting out, sort of, aren't you?
Actually, I've been singing professionally now for 2 years, but I consider that I've only started within the last year, because I've only felt that I've begun to have my own way to go, my own songs and my own guitar style, and I'm starting to get my own vocal styling now.
How do you determine when you've sort of arrived and are what you want to be in this?
It's sort of a law of averages. Depends on you don't bomb anymore. That's what it is.
In Manhattan's Greenwich Village, it was a very gritty scene, in terms of the outlook, the streets, the whole vibe. It was like Bob Dylan and Tom Paxton, Phil Oakes, and Joni, Leonard Cohen, Townes Van Zandt. It kind of came next.
So I went to New York, and I played a lot of coffee houses. I booked myself. I had no manager. I worked the bulk of the year, in club dates.
When I first heard Joni's music, I was amazed. It was truly unique.
I walked into a coffee house and she was singing, and she just floored me. She rocked me back up against the back wall of that place, and I stood there just transfixed. I couldn't believe that there was anybody that good.
So when I first saw her, hardly anybody was there. The coffee house was empty. She was standing almost a little pigeon-toed. She was all involved in tuning her guitar, and she covered her face with her hair. It's almost like she wanted to erase who she is. And just